It was a crisp autumn afternoon in downtown Los Angeles. The streets were bustling with life as people hurried past cafes, boutiques, and food trucks. Among the noise and chaos, a man sat quietly on a corner, his tattered jacket wrapped tightly around him. His name was Charlie, and he was one of the countless faces often overlooked in the city's endless rush. Charlie hadn't always been homeless. Just a few years ago, he had a job, a modest apartment, and a sense of stability. But life had thrown him a series of curveballs. A layoff led to unpaid bills, and a string of bad luck pushed him out onto the streets. Despite his circumstances, Charlie kept a sense of dignity and hope alive. He didn't beg aggressively. Instead, he quietly held a small cardboard sign that read, "Anything helps. God bless." That day, as the sun dipped lower in the sky, Charlie noticed a man walking toward him. The man was older, dressed casually in a button-up shirt and jeans, with a baseball cap pulled low over his face. There was something familiar about him, but Charlie couldn't quite place it. The man paused a few feet away, seemingly lost in thought, before approaching. "Excuse me, sir," Charlie said softly, his voice carrying a mix of humility and desperation. "Could you spare $1?" The man stopped and looked at Charlie, his piercing eyes studying him intently. For a moment, Charlie thought he might be ignored or dismissed, as so many others had done before. But instead, the man crouched down so they were at eye level. "What's your name?" the man asked, his voice gravelly yet kind. "Charlie," he replied, surprised by the question. "And yours?" The man hesitated, then removed his cap, revealing a face that Charlie instantly recognized. It was Clint Eastwood, the legendary actor and director. Charlie's eyes widened in shock. You're Clint Eastwood," he stammered. Eastwood gave a small smile. "That's what they tell me," he said. "Now, Charlie, tell me something. Why $1? Why not ask for more?" Charlie shrugged, his cheeks flushing with embarrassment. "I don't like to ask for too much. $1 can get me a little something to eat or drink. I try to get by without bothering people too much." Eastwood nodded thoughtfully. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crisp $20 bill, handing it to Charlie. "Here's 20, but I'd like to ask you something in return." Charlie blinked, clutching the money as if it might disappear. "Anything," he said. "Come with me," Eastwood said, standing up and motioning for Charlie to follow. Hesitant but intrigued, Charlie grabbed his belongings, a small backpack and his sign, and trailed behind. Eastwood led him to a nearby diner, where they sat down in a booth by the window. The waitress's eyes widened when she recognized Eastwood but said nothing, quickly bringing them menus and coffee. "Order whatever you want," Eastwood told Charlie, who hesitated before choosing a modest sandwich and soup. As they waited for the food, Eastwood leaned forward. "Charlie, tell me your story," he said. Over the next hour, Charlie opened up. He spoke about losing his job, the downward spiral that followed, and the struggle to find work while living on the streets. He admitted that he felt invisible, like no one cared whether he lived or died. Eastwood listened without interrupting, his expression serious. When Charlie finished, Eastwood leaned back in his seat, his fingers tapping thoughtfully on the table. "You know, life has a way of knocking us down when we least expect it. But it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up." Charlie nodded, though doubt flickered in his eyes. "It's hard to get back up when no one's willing to give you a chance." Eastwood's eyes narrowed, the familiar intensity that had made him a legend on the screen. "Maybe, but sometimes, all it takes is for one person to believe in you. Are you willing to put in the work if someone gives you that chance?" Charlie sat up straighter. "Yes, I'd do whatever it takes." Eastwood nodded, satisfied. He pulled out his phone and made a call. Charlie couldn't hear the details, but within minutes, Eastwood put the phone down and smiled. "Tomorrow morning, you've got an appointment at a local shelter that helps people get back on their feet. They'll provide you with resources, job training, and temporary housing. I'm covering the costs. All you have to do is show up and put in the effort." Charlie's mouth fell open. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious," Eastwood said. "But remember, this is your second chance. Make it count." Tears welled up in Charlie's eyes as he reached across the table to shake Eastwood's hand. "Thank you. Thank you so much. I won't let you down." The next day, Charlie kept his promise. He arrived at the shelter and began the hard work of rebuilding his life. Months later, he had a steady job, a place to live, and a renewed sense of purpose. He often thought about that fateful encounter with Clint Eastwood, the man who had not only given him $20, but also the opportunity to reclaim his dignity. When asked about the encounter in an interview, Eastwood shrugged it off. Sometimes, people just need a little push. If you're in a position to help, why wouldn't you? For Charlie, that push had been life-changing. And for everyone who heard his story, it was a powerful reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness could have an extraordinary impact.